Hey everyone, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're unlocking the secrets of the hidden automated machinery that literally builds our modern world. I mean, look around you. From the aerospace components in commercial jets to the precise plastic and metal parts inside the devices we use every single day, there's a really good chance they were born inside a CNC milling machine. In this Explainer, we're going to break down exactly how these incredible manufacturing powerhouses actually operate, part by part and step by step.
All right, let's establish our G-code for today, giving you a clear blueprint of where we're headed. We'll meet the machine, map out its anatomy and main parts, walk through the step-by-step process, explore the types of machines out there, and finally, wrap up with maintenance and common problems.
Okay, Section 1. Meet the machine. Let's start by defining exactly what this incredible piece of technology actually is. So what is a CNC, or Computer Numerical Control Milling Machine? Well, it's essentially a highly advanced digital sculptor. Imagine a classic sculptor chipping away at a block of marble. But instead of a chisel, you have a rapidly spinning cutter, and instead of a human hand, it's guided by completely flawless computer code. It's an automated machine tool designed to precisely remove material from a workpiece. By using these high-speed rotating cutting tools, it achieves absolute precision across metals, plastics, and composites, basically carving a raw block into a perfect final product.
Now, the advantages here are absolutely massive. Because they rely on that computer numerical control, they offer incredibly high accuracy and repeatability. And when we say accuracy, we are literally talking about tolerances smaller than a single strand of human hair. You can make the exact same part 1,000 times with zero variation. Plus, their automatic operation vastly increases productivity, allows for complex shape machining that would be almost impossible by hand, and drastically reduces human error.
Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy and Main Parts. What's really interesting here is that we can actually look at this machine like a living organism with a skeleton, muscles, and a brain. First up, the skeleton. These are the heavy, rigid structural foundations that keep everything perfectly stable while it works. At the base, you've got the machine bed, which is the main structural support that prevents vibration. Rising from that is the column, giving vertical support. Then there's the work table, which securely holds your workpiece and handles your X and Y axes, so your side-to-side and front-to-back movements. Supporting all of this are the saddle, which moves along one of those horizontal axes, and the knee, which physically moves the whole table assembly up and down for your vertical Z-axis.
Next, we meet the brain and the muscles. The CNC controller is literally the brain of the whole operation. It reads the program G-code and dictates everything. The muscles? Those are the servo motors, providing extremely precise, powerful movement across the X, Y, and Z axes. The primary driver of the cut itself is the spindle, spinning the cutting tool at crazy high speeds. And we definitely can't forget the tool magazine and automatic tool changer, or ATC. This is a brilliant system that stores multiple tools and automatically swaps them out in a fraction of a second without missing a beat mid-operation.
Finally, the machine has its own circulatory system to prevent overheating and keep things moving. We have the coolant system, which continuously floods the cutting area with fluid to reduce immense heat and improve tool life. The lubrication system automatically oils the moving parts. And speaking of moving parts, the ball screws and guideways act like smooth, friction-free joints that ensure the heavy axes glide accurately and smoothly. So how does this anatomy actually spring into action? Let's check out Section 3, the step-by-step process.
It all kicks off in the digital realm with the CAD design, where the component is carefully modeled in software. Once that digital blueprint is ready, it's passed over to CAM programming, which magically converts the design into G-code, the native language the machine understands. Next is the program input, where you load that precise code straight into the controller. And finally, workpiece clamping, where the raw material is firmly locked down securely onto the work table.
Now for the main event, the physical cut. The machine starts with tool selection, autonomously grabbing exactly what it needs via the ATC. Then, the machining operation springs to life. The spindle ramps up to speed, the servo motors drive the axes, and we get actual material removal. That rotating cutter just shaves away the raw block layer by layer until the geometry is absolutely perfect. Once the dust settles, you've got your finished product ready for final inspection. Now, Section 4, Types of Milling Machines. Not all of these machines are built exactly the same, so let's look at how they differ based on the job at hand.
First, we can differentiate them by their axes. A standard 3-axis machine moves left, right, front, back, and up, down, your X, Y, and Z. It handles standard shapes beautifully.
But if you upgrade to a 5-axis machine, that's a real game changer. It adds rotational axes, meaning you can approach the material from almost any angle. This unlocks the ability to create incredibly complex, multi-sided parts without ever having to unclamp and reposition the material.
We can also categorize them by their spindle orientation. Vertical milling machines have a top-down vertical spindle. These are super common and perfect for general machining tasks. Horizontal milling machines, on the other hand, use a sideways spindle. Why does that matter? Well, gravity naturally helps pull the heavy metal chips down and out of the cutting area, making them far better suited for heavy cutting and deep material removal.
Looking at some specialized types, we have universal milling machines, which are highly adaptable and perform multiple varied operations for ultimate flexibility. And then, for sheer industrial power, we have the bed-type milling machine. These skip the vertical knee movement entirely and rely on a massive spindle head moving up and down. They are absolutely the heavyweight champions for heavy-duty industrial applications where maximum rigidity is required.
Bringing us to Section 5, Maintenance and Common Problems. Let's talk about the care and feeding of these complex systems.
Regular upkeep is strictly regimented to prevent catastrophic failures. Daily chores are the absolute basics: cleaning surfaces, checking your lube, coolant and air pressure, and just doing a good visual check. Weekly, it gets a bit more targeted. You inspect the spindle, clean out the tool holders, and check the electricals. Monthly maintenance goes really deep. That's when you verify the servo motors, check the guideways, and inspect the ball screws for backlash, which is basically any unwanted loose play or wiggling that could totally ruin your precision.
This checklist right here gives operators exact verifiable parameters. For lubrication, you check the oil levels and look for leaks. For the spindle, it's all about monitoring noise and temperature. You're confirming correct pressure in the pneumatics, smooth movement in the servos, and making sure the electrical panel is in good shape. Sticking to these exact parameters is what guarantees machine reliability and extends its life. But hey, even with perfect maintenance, things go wrong. Recognizing the symptoms is how you pinpoint the cause. Got a poor surface finish? That's usually tool wear or machine vibration. Hearing excessive noise? That often points to bearing damage. Overheating is typically insufficient lubrication. And if you're getting an axis positioning error, that links right back to a servo or encoder issue. It's all about connecting those dots.
Before we finish up, we absolutely have to emphasize safety. These are powerful, unforgiving industrial machines that demand absolute respect. Always wear your PPE, keep those machine doors firmly closed during operation, strictly follow lockout and tagout procedures during maintenance so the machine can't accidentally power on. And the golden rule: stop the machine immediately if any abnormal sound occurs. And that brings us to the end of our journey. Understanding a CNC milling machine's anatomy, its working principles, and its maintenance really demystifies how our modern world is built. It shows the sheer brilliance of automated manufacturing. So, I want to leave you with this question. What complex shape would you design now that you know exactly how a CNC milling machine could carve it into reality? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.